as many as 17 stab wounds to the face and eyes.
52 victims.
32 stab wounds with additional disfigurement.
One killer.
Of a nature that suggests not so much a sharp instrument as teeth.
This is the story of the world's most deadly, most prolific, and most evasive serial killer in history.
There's another body in the woods.
This is the true life story of the hunt for Citizen X.
Every piece of garbage within 200 yards of here checked out. For fingerprints and fibers and bodily fluids. Every can, every bottle, you understand me? If we're going to fail, it won't be because of something we left undone.
So you lucky fellow, have not one but two movies starring Dreamboat Stephen Ray.
You betcha. Hottie toddy.
What a mug on this guy.
He's a character actor.
He's got the saddest sort of droopy dog eyes in the business. I do think that he's a good actor. And you got to sort of choose how you pick, where you're going to put him. But I like the man. I think one of the many very chilling things about Citizen X is that it's kind of underseen, and I think that it's a really good movie that people need to find.
Definitely.
And that the story told about this serial killer Chikatilo, and his over 50 victims, most of which were children, is true.
It's chillingly true, and it's actually the movie. I'm a bit of a serial killer. I wouldn't say fanatic, but I read up on them.
True crime fan.
Yeah, true crime fan. So I've read up a lot on Citizen Chikatilo, and it's very accurate to the real life story, which is horrifying.
By all accounts, it's a Cole's Note sort of version of what happened. The people who were in charge changed a lot over the years, and in this movie they kind of streamline it. It's usually the same three people that this guy has to account to. But basically, he's a medical investigator, and they keep finding bodies of children in this forest, and he wants to find the killer responsible. But this is Cold War,
Russia.
And they want to be careful how things appear. And according
serial killers are a decadent Western phenomenon.
Yeah, and it's funny to hear that line said, especially by Yas Ackland, the villain from Lethal Weapon 2. He's just like a guy born to be a Bond villain. It's got that villainous face, right? But it's you can't laugh at it because it's true. And what we see through this story is that the investigation is actively impeded in the interest of violating the rights of gypsies and homosexuals because they refuse to admit that serial killers could even exist.
Could even exist,
And the collateral damage to the left and right of this is devastating.
Yeah, it's extensive and deep, right?
I gotta say, this movie, it was made by HBO sort of early in their original programming years. This is 1995. I think that they came up with as an engaging, as a potent thriller as I've seen anywhere on the big screen.
I would totally agree. This one kind of fell in my lap. It was a video store pick. We were talking about video stores that no longer exist.
Once upon a time.
And just the shelves were empty that day, and that one was sitting on it. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a watch. And that was it. I was hooked. I had to have it.
It just knocks you over, right?
Yep.
Now, one of the people that I also want to talk about in this movie, oh my God, Jeffrey DeMunn, who plays Chikatilo himself. Walking Dead's fans will recognize him from the first two seasons of The Walking Dead. It's a great performance, and that actor, I think, really delivers because he typically runs on a charm. He usually played as that likable guy who delivers exposition and then gets killed off.
He's not likable in this movie.
He's broken, he's fragile. You could sort of see where his evil comes from. But the portrayal is utterly chilling.
Oh yeah, and the worst part is he looks a little like Mr. Dressup.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
There's something very innocent. Like I don't know if that was part of the casting too, but you trust this face. Until you know what's behind that face.
Yeah, you feel a little sorry for that face, right? You're like, oh, look at that poor guy.
He looks like
a
school
lonely
teacher having a bad day.
And he was a school teacher.
Exactly.
And he had some pretty bad days.
So he's used to talking to children.
Yep.
So he knows how to talk to and manipulate children.
Yep.
So he is able over this, was a 10-year period almost?
It's probably 9-10 years, I think it was like 78 to 88, 89 when the wall came down, right? something like that.
Yeah, at the time, Stephen Ray was a bit of a name because of the popularity of Neil Jordan's movie, The Crying Game.
Crying Game, yeah.
But HBO dropped some cash and did some sort of, flash casting, and they got Donald Sutherland and they got Max von Sydow.
I love Max von Sydow.
Love both of those actors. I would just listen to those
their
two
voices
guys
all the time.
anything.
Yeah, totally.
Sutherland's character is sort of the one guy who's working with the brass that seems to really genuinely be on our protagonist's side, and is working like hell to make things work from
as
the
much as he
inside out.
could, right? Because he couldn't go too far, otherwise he would have been out, and then he would have been our main protagonist would have been all on his own.
But basically, what it amounts to, for the most part, is making sure that he's able to keep his job.
Well, it's right, Cold War Russia. It's watch my ass first, then I'll worry about yours, right?
Yeah.
And you definitely see it with his.
Yeah. And what we see in the Max von Sydow character is sort of Russia's sort of first steps in the science of psychological profiling. Where you have this guy who's given all the ingredients of this case, of this scenario, except for the person responsible. And from that map, from all of these years, from all of these crime scenes, develops almost out of the air, just out of intuitively, really, a psychological profile. What kind of mindset does this?
Yeah.
And when he gets his interview with Chikatilo, one of the first thing he says is that he's incredibly nervous.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, is like, are you scared to be talking to a killer? Are you nervous because you want to know how close you got on your psychological profile?
Yeah.
It's played so well.
It's
played so well.
And he's definitely nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the line that was really good for him was to be a psychologist in Cold War Russia is to be an expert in paranoia.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure it is, right? The interview he has with Chikatilo, and he just goes on and just reads out his profile.
Doesn't even ask questions.
Yeah, just brilliant. It was like, that's the perfect way. And you just think, how's that going to work? But it worked like a charm. That's exactly what he did.
He was just unspooling rope.
Yeah.
He was going to give this guy all the rope he needed to hang himself.
Yeah.
Even a nod would have done it. But and I think that what really works is that to be understood, I think, would be such a relief to Chikatilo.
I know. At this point, he's just got to be bubbling over. I can't imagine the kind of pressure that would put on a person to have that in you.
In a way, it seems more composed than the actual footage. I've seen some footage of him from the trial, and he just seems like a frothing lunatic in that footage.
Word is that he played that. He was trying to get off with insanity play. A lot of that was him playing it up,
trying to save his own life.
Yeah,
I buy that. There's so much fascinating about it. The psychological weight that's put on the Stephen Ray's character that almost destroys him. When they find out that the Americans, when they have people in similar investigations, will shuffle them off to a different case every 6 months.
And when he told them that, and he apologized for it, and he just broke down, and he's like, "I'm sorry," right?
You have to imagine, if my job, there's not a lot of high stakes, and a lot of people work in offices or in the service industry, and they deal with stress. But if your job is collecting the corpses of children found in the woods
and trying to find who's
doing
it,
to use the clues left on their broken bodies to find the person responsible, and years are going by and you're not stopping it, the psychological effect would have to be devastating.
I couldn't imagine.
It's such a fascinating movie, and it's sort of amazing that it took HBO to get it made. It seems so hungry, maybe just because it took place in Cold War Russia.
That may be something to do with it, yeah.
But I can't think of a lot negative to say about the movie.
I can't think of anything. It's one of my top movies of all time, so I have nothing bad to say about it. It's not for the faint of heart,
no,
right? Because it's if you don't feel something after watching this movie, you maybe should be starring in one of these movies. But
there's 2 scenes that are in this movie that I can pull right now that just burned into my retinas as much as any scenes from any other movies that we'll see in this list. There's a scene where this boy steps aside to have a pee, and this stream of urine unearths this skull.
Yep. at the very opening scene.
Yeah, and just that image is such a horrible...
Yeah.
There's nothing not horrible about that.
And that's the first thing you see.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
and then there's a scene where he's in the killer. We know he's a killer, and of course the woman who's with him doesn't know. Makes the mistake of starting to laugh because he seems to have
sexual dysfunction
getting up, and he doesn't respond with words. He responds by putting a knife into her chest, and she goes from laughing to screaming in this one shocked moment, and it's just. Oh, it's so chilling.
And there's a pause right after he sticks the blade in where she's in shock, where she doesn't... There's laughing, there's a pause, and then they're screaming. Yeah. And it's just like, ugh. Yeah. It's not a pretty scene.
It's a tale of madness. And for me, I think it's got a little extra weight on it just because it is a true story. As much as the nightmares imagined in Seven and Silence of the Lambs were horrifying. Yeah. This one, I can't get the escape clause of saying that it's just made up by some sick screenwriter.
No, it's not made up. It's real life, baby.
Yeah, and I think that makes it more horrifying. For good or ill, it's got extra points because it took its facts from the real world.
And they had him early on in the early 80s. They had him in custody.
And they fucked up some testing or something.
Well, the testing was... what it was, it came back, the sperm sample came back different than the blood sample, right? Right. So later on, years later, it was brought to foreknowledge that they fudged the results. But the person involved said, "Oh no, you can have two different." Trying to save their ass, saying you can have two different types of sperm and blood, which you can't, right? But that was just them covering their ass, and they had him, and they let him go.
You've said you've done some reading about it. Do you know? Is it true that they were using it as an excuse to sort of attack the homosexual community and gypsies? It's like, it's probably one of those groups that's responsible for this, and either way, if it is or it isn't them, if you arrest them, we're doing a public service.
Yeah, we're doing a public service, and yet they actually did that. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I know, which doesn't surprise me at all, which is even scarier. Right? Any excuse. So the story of the boy they brought in that got hung in the cell. Right. I don't know if that part was true or not.
Okay.
But the rest of it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another great moment I just want to bring up when he's finally given enough resources so that he can actually set and spring a trap, and he's got uniformed, visible police on all these train stations except for one. Yep. The actual day that they catch the guy, or the ID officially who the killer is, unfortunately coincides with one body, and the guy who had been there. Again, I don't know if it's a dramatic license taken by the movie. If it is, I forgive it. Not only had he been there all day and just left to go take a piss in the woods, but the woman that was found was related
to him. From what I read, that was a true story. It was his cousin from a different village.
Oh my god!
Yeah, or his niece, niece or cousin. I don't remember which one. Yeah. And he happened to. He just looked odd. Is what he said. That's why he held him up. He didn't accost anyone. He just looked odd. And that was him.
It's a very, very good movie, and it's a movie that kind of a lot of people missed. So I was kind of surprised when you said, I have heard of that, and I have really liked it, because a lot of people, everyone knows Silence of the Lambs. Everybody knows Seven, whether they like it or not. Yeah. Everybody knows Natural Born Killers, whether they like it or not. I think that this movie is totally worthy of mention in the same breath of those.
Oh, definitely,
and a lot
without
of people
a doubt.
have not seen it. So.
And it just skated underneath the ice somehow. HBO released it, like you said, in its infancy of being a cable TV powerhouse, right? And it just kind of got lost in the shuffle somewhere. And I'm glad I found it.
And hopefully there's somebody else who will find it now because of my podcast.
Yeah, do it. Awesome movie.
Cheers.